So meanwhile, please, if you have any questions regarding Justice's presentation, please just go ahead and post your questions on the comments on the message link, on the message link here in Zoom, so we can address them. We'll address them at, I think when I'm done with my presentation, we'll go ahead and address any questions that comes up.
Yeah, you can go ahead and share your screen. You have the rights to do that now.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me do that. So guys, please, once you can see my screen, you let me know, okay? Am I up, please? Hello, please, once you can see my screen, just let me know. My slides.
I see your screen.
Okay, awesome, awesome. So first and foremost, I'll start by introducing PSP Analytics. We are a startup that is actually our area of expertise is in the provision of data analytics services, business-to-business data analytics services to be precise. And we also aim to train data scientists and data analysts to be able to leverage on technology to deliver data services at scale. We plan to improve data literacy in the corporate environment, and also to raise professionals in the data field. As I progress with my presentation, you'll know why that is very important. My name is Okon Prince. I am a data scientist by training, and I am also a data analyst by passion. But I would always say, once you are a data scientist, you can perform the role of a data analyst as well. They are kind of interchangeable. If you want to be very efficient, let me put it that way. They are not the same thing, and the roles are distinct. But if you want to be very efficient as a data scientist, you must be familiar with core data analyst services or provisions, things like data visualization, presentation and insights, mining insights from a particular data set. So they kind of work hand in hand. Now, I have a record of leading teams successfully that have developed and deployed data science projects, end-to-end data science projects. I've done several projects with Omdina. I've done several projects with my local data science team. I've also worked with several persons, including the previous speaker that just ended, in deploying projects, data science and data analytic projects. I like to see the big picture when it comes to this field, and I'm passionate about data, which is one of the things that you must have if you want to be efficient as a data scientist. Most recently, I served in the University of Stanford Code in Place program, where we taught people how to use the Python programming language, both for data science and for other applications. We are generally, my passion is to create a community of data scientists and data analysts that are going to lead the way when it comes to the progress that is going to be made in this field, in this budding field. My presentation is going to take this format. There will be the introduction, the PSP project, which I've just explained. What is data analytics, data science, the application of data analytics in businesses, the career options you have, the education that is required to be efficient as a data analyst and a data scientist, the skills gap that exists in the industry, and the role of AI in data science careers, mentorship and internship opportunities. Then we'll also talk about projects and jobs. Now, I started my presentation the first time when I did the introduction of this program. I did say that 5 of the biggest companies in the world today, if you check the S&P 500, these are the biggest companies in the world as at date: Google, Apple, Microsoft, Tesla, Amazon. What's the similarity between all of these companies? They all leverage on data. They are not the only people doing what they do in their space, but they are passionate. They really understand how data can facilitate growth in businesses. If you take two businesses, one that uses data, leverages on data, and compare it with another business that does not. The difference is as far as night and day, the blind and those who can see, because working with data is like getting sight. It's like being aware, having knowledge of what is required, what is necessary, what should be done, and what can be achieved. We are in a dispensation of data transformation. And what does that mean? Data is transforming how business is being done everywhere in the world. Data is transforming. It's either you tag along or you get left behind, but you would never perform as well as a company that uses data. I will run a quick example. Netflix is the most popular online TV service provider. What makes them different from every other service provider? What is the difference? What is the distinction? Netflix provides a service that is tailored to you, to the individual. How do they do this? They leverage on data. There's something that is called a recommendation engine, which is a pure data science project where you can use past behavior to predict people's likes. So it's as simple as saying, if you love bananas and apples, you're very likely to like cucumbers because they are all fruits. It sounds very simple, but that's a very powerful theory that has powered a multi-billion-dollar industry. And Netflix is not alone. YouTube does it as well. You see recommendations of movies or videos you would love based on your past attitudes, on what you have watched before. And it goes on and on and on. So it has empowered employees to know what their customers want and adjust to be able to provide just what the people want. It has allowed people to be able to engage their customers intellectually, because when you speak someone's language, you're most likely able to retain the person's attention. Knowing what somebody wants, knowing somebody's passion is like speaking the language that that person speaks. It has led to transformation in products. Product can be tailored, optimized operations. You get to know where your resources are being expended and where you need to make adjustments to be more efficient in your operations. Now, this is a little bit of statistics on data. 5 hours of videos are usually watched daily. 500,000 hours of videos are uploaded on YouTube every single day currently. There are 5 billion searches, out of which 3.5 billion are on Google alone. There are 26 billion weather requests. Spotify has 20,000 new songs daily. We send about 300 billion mails daily. And WhatsApp messages, 65 billion in the individual WhatsApp message, 500 million tweets, 750 million status updates on Facebook. We also have 3 billion photos taken every day, with 300 million of them shared on Facebook. Now, back to what I was saying about the data revolution. Before now, there was once a time, not too much in the distant past. In fact, I happened to be alive when that was the reality. There was a time when you only take pictures twice, on your birthday and on Christmas Day. But today you take pictures every single day. Every single day. Some people take hundreds of pictures every day. Now that is data that is being generated consistently. Now, let us look at the problem that we're talking about. Lots of data is generated in the world by people and businesses. Now, it is clear that this data is a massive gold mine, but the problem is that there are not enough miners. There are not enough data professionals to gain insights and present these insights in a beautiful way. The data has it that only 5% of data generated in the world is currently processed or analyzed in any form. A whopping 95% is left unmined, unattended, untapped. Now, that is a huge opportunity. This is the gap that we intend to fill. This is the gap that we intend to fill by our project and what we're doing. Data analytics is simply the process of generating insights and presenting it in a way that is simple to understand, to comprehend, and to utilize. The goal of data analytics is to bring the insights that are hidden in data to the fore. That is the goal of data analytics. It's a huge resource. It's a huge advantage. I once tried to compare it to a microscope. There was a time in the past where people did not know the properties of certain organisms because we couldn't see what they really looked like and how they behaved. The invention of the microscope was a turning point for science. That is exactly the same thing that is happening now. We are at the cusp of a revolution in the way things are done. With the way we can see data, we can understand data, we can use data. That's a massive thing that is happening right before our eyes. There is what is called descriptive analysis, which describes what is happening, diagnostic analysis, which tries to diagnose a problem using analytics, predictive analytics, which is somehow overlaps with data science and machine learning, where you use past performance and other indices to predict future behavior. And there's prescriptive analysis, and that simply tells what can be done or what has to be done. The technical skills that is required to be a well-rounded data analyst, a lot of this is also similar to what is required to be a data scientist. You have to be proficient in a programming language. It could be either Python or R. Python is my personal favorite because of the versatility. R is also good, but it seems to be kind of leaned towards statistical analysis. What Python is much more versatile. You need to have experience with relational databases. It could also be non-relational databases as well. So use of the SQL programming language, the SQL language to query database is very important. You need to have practical experience with EDA using Python or any other language of your choice. EDA stands for exploratory data analysis. That's the capacity to go into the data and see what the data is saying, not really changing anything. Engineering data is quite different from EDA. You need to have a good understanding and experience with machine learning, building algorithms that can predict based on data that is available. You need to have excellent analytical skills, learning skills. There are optional conditions, which is learning deep language frameworks. But when you get into it, when you start with linear regression, you start getting into random forest regression. You just naturally want to progress to the next level. That's the beauty of it. The more you know, the more you desire to know, and the more you learn, the more you want to learn. Now, your practical skills is you need to have a desire or drive, innovation to generate unique solutions to problems. You need to have a growth mindset, you need to be a positive person. You need to have the ability to track and share trends, best practices, ideas. You need to have a drive for performance. What this means is that you need to be passionate about performance. You want things to go right, yeah? Then ability to take an unpopular stance, because sometimes the data says something totally different from what is popular. And that can be really, really crazy sometimes when popular opinion says one thing and data says something else entirely, and you need to stand with what the data says. Now, in the past, there was a role called the BI analyst, the business intelligence analyst. Currently, there's a role called data analyst. And I would say there is also a role called data scientist. Maybe that is the role that will consume the data analyst position. But there's something I think I'm pressed to straighten out. Let us not be too passionate or too interested in tags or names, what we want to call processes. The reason is this: data science is a budding field. In fact, in many universities, they do not have a data science faculty yet, or a data science department yet. Many people don't even understand data science as it stands now. Many people who need data science as a service or data analytics do not even know they need it yet. So it's a budding field. So sometimes nomenclatures can get thrown around, and they may not mean, there could be slight variances in the meaning, but I believe that in the near future, what would happen is that all of these terminologies will be harmonized and there will be standards. But there is one thing that is clear is that there is always an overlap, both in the skills that is required to perform as a data analyst and a data scientist, and in the roles that is assigned to a data analyst and a data scientist. But for all practical purposes, let's just see this as the roles or duties of a data analyst. Your stock in trade is data. That is what you work with. That is what you're good at. That is what you love. That is what you relate with, data. Data never comes clean. My co-presenter did talk about Undina, about Kaggle challenges, and many other challenges you go into when you're starting out your journey as a data scientist. It was really funny for me because yes, I also fell into the trap when I saw the way data was. When you go to Kaggle, you see all your data neatly placed in rows, all of them in the proper format, spick and span. You just come and deploy your ML model and you're feeling like a champion. Wait until you handle a project in real life. Data is messy, very, very messy. You know, there are things that come in the wrong format. You see a date written as a string, written as a text in text format. You see a number written as words. You see somebody missing out certain letters in his name or adding symbols to a name. You see email addresses not being complete, you know, and many, many, many other things that can compromise the integrity of your data. 70% of the work of a data professional is cleaning up messy data. We also do well to provide advice on best practices for data collection, how data can be properly collected, pre-processed. We create pipelines. What is a pipeline? A pipeline is a laid down process or procedure for performing a particular action. It's basically a script. You can call it a script. So a data pre-processing pipeline tells an algorithm, maybe if it's written in Python programming language, for example, when this data comes in, do this to the data. First, we want you to change all the headings to capital letters. Then we want you to remove the index and make the first row the index, the first column the index. Then we want you to iterate through the data and remove every entry that has over 30% null values. Then we want you to do this and that, just commands, a number of commands that will be executed on a data. And once that command is complete, you have successfully deployed a pipeline. So instead of cleaning up data every single time manually in a very laborious way, you can pass the data through your pipeline that you have created, and it comes out looking whole, comes out looking beautiful. So that's what pipelines are about. And that's one of your core duties as a data analyst. And that is also sometimes what a data scientist does as well. Then you need to have the ability to collaborate. Why? Because most of the time, a data analyst's job is just a portion, and you're working with stuff you have absolutely no control over. So if you're not good at collaborating, you would be a failure no matter how sound you are technically. You're collecting data from many departments. You're collecting data from accounts. People in accounts are just accountants. They are good with the numbers, trying to figure out what is happening, where money is going to, where money is coming from. But they may not be good with data. They may not understand best practices. You have to communicate all of this to the various teams that you'll be working with so that you can perform well. So that is also a quality of a data analyst. Now, this is still the market outlook. Why do you think you are in the right place wanting to study analytics and data science at this point? The bar graph at the bottom right shows what is expected as in the development that is happening in the field right now. We are right here, we are in the third bar. So you can imagine the value of the industry is just 53.96 billion. And it's not far-fetched because we are simply processing 5% of all data that is generated. Imagine what happens when we can process 10%, when we can process 20%, when we can process 50%. Bottom line is that the industry is expected to grow consistently year on year until 2030, when the industry will grow from $53.9 billion to $346.3 billion. What does that mean for you as a data analyst or a data scientist? One thing is certain: the capacity for preprocessing and manipulating data has to increase exponentially. Of course, with developments in AI, we do not expect that it is human beings that will consistently drive this growth. But there is a side of data science and data analytics that is still the preserve of humans. So as long as that is the case, you will do yourself a huge favor to position yourself to benefit from this trend. Data scientists and data analysts get a 20 to 30% pay hike annually compared to 15% among other professionals. And the demand for high quality and affordable data analytics and data science services will only continue to increase as time progresses. Now, who are the people who need these services? The truth is that almost everybody is your client. Why is almost everybody your client? In short, everybody is your client. Everybody. Let me not say almost everybody. Why is that the case? Because everybody generates data. Not just everybody, even things generate data. Your TV is generating data constantly. Because if we have the technology to collect it, you can go directly to the TV and bypass the viewers, and the TV will tell you what program is displayed on it at every point in time. That's another realm entirely. It's called the IoT, the Internet of Things, where information is gotten from objects like your TV, like your refrigerator, like your microwave, like your washing machine. And this is only going to continue. So aside from things which generate data, there are e-commerce businesses that generate data constantly, financial service providers, banks and online lending institutions, agricultural production and storage institutions, power generation and distribution companies, all kinds of production companies, hoteliers and tourists, etc., etc., etc. So everything you can think of, believe me, they will benefit from data science and data analytics in one way or the other. They don't know. Most of them don't even know yet, but they definitely will. I can tell you for free that if you take two businesses that exist today and one begin to become sensitive to data, begin to develop a relationship with data, begin to nurture, have an understanding of data, how it benefits their business, what other people are doing, what they are doing, where they are going wrong, how they can correct it, 4 years, 5 years down the line, they would not compare to each other. One business would be far, far, far gone ahead of the other. So yes, because the industry is nascent, some of these people don't even know they need these services yet. We have a duty to go out and evangelize, tell them that they need this service and we can give it to them. Then another thing to consider is that there is a revolution going on right now. It's called the AI revolution. And you are in competition. You're not in competition with other human beings. You're far more in competition with AI than other humans. And at the end of the day, who would win? It's the person who is able to leverage on AI to do what every other person can do, but do it exponentially well or exponentially better. Before the advent of ChatGPT, which is just months, not even up to a year, let me use just one thing as an example. Yeah. If you're able to write 3 articles in a day, maybe you are a writer who produces content, develops content for web, and you're able to write 3 sound articles every day before the advent of ChatGPT. Right now, with ChatGPT as a service, you will be able to generate as much as 10 times that, if I'm not mistaken. Because what used to take you 3 hours to do, you can do in a couple of minutes today. And it cuts across every single field. You know, everywhere there's one AI deployment or the other that is going to benefit the industry, that will benefit the people and will be an advantage. So yes, we need to bear in mind that AI has come to stay, and we need to intentionally leverage on AI in the deployment in whatever it is we want to do or whatever our solutions are. As a data analyst, you must also be guided by the ethics of responsible data use. You must maintain full disclosure of how you intend to use customers' data at all times. Protect their privacy. It's your duty to protect the privacy of the people who entrust their data into your hands. In fact, in many places, it's a crime to use data illegally or use data in some way. So there are several industry standards for data privacy and data use. But one thing we adopt, I love, my personal favorite, is what is called the principle of least privilege. What that means is that you simply allow access to the minimum data that the professional needs to get his tasks or the task assigned to him done. So that is something you should bear in mind and possibly adopt at all times. But now, there is something called the skills gap, and that's a favorite of mine. I look at gaps in the industry. What does the industry need so far right now? And this study was carried out by Anaconda. For data scientists, you know that Anaconda is they are high up there when it comes to providing tools for data scientists to use for the regular execution of their work. The Jupyter Notebook and Python ID environment that compresses everything you would ever need as a data scientist and packages it as a single solution. That's Anaconda. So they do know what they're talking about when they say something. They are saying for analytics, there's a 28% gap in data visualization. So that is an area where there is a need, 28% need for people to upskill. Business analytics, 20%, computer vision, 18%, natural language processing, 13%. Then for data, for the data scientists, big data management, 31%, SQL, 12%. So these are the gaps that exist in the industry. And how do we look at training? We have an approach. We adopt a hands-on training approach. We train for the market. We train for the market. What that means is that we observe where the gaps exist. Then we see that there are opportunities where this gap exists, and we fill them by training professionals that provide value in that area. We teach students how to leverage heavily on AI in dispensing their work. This would greatly increase their efficiency, like I said. Once someone asked me a question and said, don't you think it's taking the humanity out of a project if you leverage on AI so much to deploy the project? And I'm like, in my own humble opinion, AI has come to stay. It's not going to go away. Some people would flow with the tide, others would try to resist it. But you're doing yourself a massive disfavor if you don't fire on all cylinders. What do I mean? Don't be afraid of using AI for anything AI is good at. That's my principle. If AI can help me deploy 10 machine learning models a day, so be it. Let me be the data scientist that delivers 10 high quality. Of course, I'm not going to compromise on the quality of what I'm doing. But if AI is going to let me deploy 10 ML models, sound models that are very good in one day, I will do it. I would not hold back and say, no, is it not too much? One person doing it? No. Why am I saying this? Because your competition is not going to do that. Your competition will not say it is too much. Your competition will end up being the man who deploys 10 models when others can only deploy 2. And that is what makes him stand out. That's what makes him outstanding. So what am I trying to say? We leverage heavily on AI, and that is an integral part of our sessions and what we are teaching. We're going to be teaching people how to use AI, how to be good at what you do by leveraging on AI, analytics, data science, and possibly other fields, though we are concentrating on what our profession is, but of course, there's the use of AI cuts across everywhere. So finally, our goal is to train people in all of these spheres. We do open source projects as well. In fact, there's a particular favorite project of mine that is ongoing. I think I should share it with us at this moment. We have a national budget. We have always had a national budget as a country, year on year. But what does it really mean? What does the national budget mean to you? You know, to you, these are just numbers. These are just words. If they say Nigeria's budget for this year is 730 trillion naira, it's just a word. And afterwards, you go on your merry way and you forget about it. But trust me, if someone really gets visual and tell you what 730 trillion means, you would pay attention, you would begin to understand. For example, if somebody tells you that 730 trillion is, if you stack 730 trillion up, you make a ladder that gets from Earth to the moon 3 times. It brings a picture to your mind that, wow, that's a whole lot. So what am I trying to say? I want us to be able to bring projects closer to people, and that will stimulate change, both in how we behave, even as companies. You see, there is this statistic that many businesses shut down within 12 months. A chunk of businesses shut down within 12 months of being in existence. A larger chunk still shuts down within 5 to 7 years of being in existence. The question is, why do these businesses shut down? If they have data, they would be able to see where exactly their money is going to. Many companies have been able to come to the conclusion that it is safer or more economical to replace a vehicle after it is used 5 years. But for some, they do not see the reason why, because they don't have a database or sufficient data to tell them how much exactly they are spending on maintenance after the 5-year threshold. These are all things that data science, data analytics would do for you. And currently, data science and data analytics are quite expensive. It's in fact, very expensive. To hire a skilled data scientist, you should be looking at upwards of the 500,000 naira mark using Nigerian currency, but it hovers somewhere around $1,000 and above, and that's because we are in Africa. Outside Africa, you're talking over $3,000 to hire a data scientist per month. I believe that this budget can go down, not just going down. I know many data scientists will be looking at me and they'll be like, so you don't want us to be collecting good money. No, what I mean is that your work can be way, way less if you work intelligently. If you leverage on some of these tools that we've talked about, work intelligently, you can perform way, way more for a shorter period of time and enjoy more compensation for that. And that's what we are about. Teaching people how to leverage on tools that they have at their disposal, teaching people how to be the best version of themselves in their profession. Then finally, in deploying this, we are launching a maiden program, the very first time we're doing this. And our goal is to train a certain number of persons in all of these skills that we have talked about. First and foremost, we want to have, there are 3 tiers of this training, and we believe that pricing should be reflective of the value that we offer. We have a free tier because we want it to be clear that our passion is that people should come into the space, learn about the space, and perform in the space. We have a free tier, Okay, before I go into that, let me just say one last thing. Information in this age is almost free. Almost free. What do I mean by almost free? What you need to spend is just data. If you have data, you can have information for everything. All of the information that is required to make you skilled, all of the information you need that you require to be a skilled medical practitioner, for example. You want to be a medical doctor. Everything you need to be a medical doctor is online for free. You won't pay a dime for it. The same thing can be said about other professions. Let me also give an example. Harvard University, which is high up there as far as rankings are concerned, is offering their entire computer science program for free online. There's a platform called EDX where you can go learn. But we are simultaneously suffering from what is called information overload. Nobody knew that this would be the case, but it is really the case. This is a situation where more is actually less. So people have access to so much, but they cannot harness it, they cannot organize it, they don't have the discipline to structure it, they don't understand how it is structured. If they do understand all of these things, then it becomes beneficial. Now, Harvard offers their program free online. They tell you you can have all of our resources, our lectures and all of that online for free. But if you want to be a student of Harvard University, you get to pay not even small money. I think the full cost should be pushing 200,000 US dollars for the entire 4-year duration of your study of that course. And why is it so? They give you what is called mentorship. They organize their curriculum. They teach you. They provide other training opportunities. And at the end of the day, you come out way more rounded than you would have been if you were just hopping from course to course, program to program. So what are we going to do in our free tiers? We'll point you in the direction of many study resources. You have access to our free webinars. We would run webinars from time to time. I would recommend this tier for people who are just curious. You just want to know what data science and data analytics is about. You just want to get your feet wet a little bit, but you don't want to commit so much materially. You can consider going for this free tier. Then there is another tier which we call the data literacy tier. We're going to be offering a training for 30 days, and we're going to give you access to study resources. We're going to have hands-on sessions and training webinars, and we're going to have data literacy sessions. This is going to be very, very beneficial to professionals, not necessarily data professionals, but professionals in other fields, because every single field benefits from data science. And we can give you tailored solutions because you're going to have one-on-one sessions where you desire it, you book. You have a right by virtue of your registration or subscription. You have a right to schedule one-on-one mentorship sessions where we can provide consultancy services for you. It is suitable for professionals, like I said, or business owners. You have a business, you want to really understand how data will benefit you, what you can do with data, how you can integrate data best practices into your business. So this particular tier would run for you. Then if you want to be a full-fledged data professional, we have a third tier, and the cost for that tier is $100 and the duration is 90 days. You also have access to study resources. We have hands-on sessions and training webinars, not just like the ones where this is just a webinar session, but when I say hands-on, I'm talking about working with Python, working with SQL, deploying databases, running queries on databases, creating algorithms that is going to do prediction, all that kind of beautiful, beautiful stuff. And ultimately, you are going to be building your portfolio. As we're doing every single one of these projects, you're building your portfolio. What this will do is that you are going to present yourself as a well-rounded professional at the end of the course, and you would have what it takes to handle projects in the real world, to handle projects in the marketplace. This tier is suitable for data professionals or aspiring data professionals who want to stand out in the profession and learn data science and data analytics quickly and efficiently. And boy, are we going to use AI. We'll do so much with AI. I'm just excited thinking about it, what we can achieve and what we can do. So definitely we will do so much. We will deploy stuff. We will see how you can use AI to 10 times, 12 times your efficiency and your capacity to deliver projects with speed. Okay, then we'll talk about how you can make payments, how you can schedule your space for the trainings. We accept payments via bank transfer for those who are resident in Nigeria. If you're not resident in Nigeria, or you would rather not use a bank transfer for your payments, we also accept crypto payments, just 3 cryptocurrencies for now. We accept payments in Bitcoin, we accept payments in Ethereum, and we accept payments in Binance Coin. But for these payments, the price fluctuates. Of course, we all know that cryptocurrency prices fluctuate. So it might not be the same price at the point you want to pay. So at the moment you want to pay, you reach out to our customer care agents, and they would let you know what exactly the rates of the cryptocurrency is at that time, so we can do the needful. Finally, I want to appreciate every single person who has stayed this long. I am going to, every single person who stayed for the entire duration of this program is entitled to a certificate. We're going to send your certificates to you, to your email addresses, your certificates of attendance. And I really, really appreciate the fact that you guys took your time to be a part of this. And yes, please, if you have questions, if you have comments, this is the time. Thank you so much.
Hello, good morning, PSP.
Good morning, Mr. Okoron. Good to have you on the call. Yeah. Welcome.
I must confess that this is mind-blowing. This is I want to thank you very much for this opportunity that you've given for people to understand what data analytics is and data is and the differences. It's really mind-blowing. And I want to appreciate the fact that you took your time to break it down. And it just speaks to the fact that when you come on board with your hat on, it's going to be wow. So I can't wait to come on board. You made mention of the 3 tiers, but you only talked about the amount for the last one, the hands-on, and then but you didn't talk about the professionals, those who are professionals in a field, how much they are going to pay for them for theirs, since it's 30 days. So how much is it? One, we just want to know about that. And secondly, how soon will this program commence? And what are the requirements that participants need to have so as to have a smooth sail for the course and to gain a whole lot? And what other mentoring services are you going to be offering as well? I just want to say thank you very much once again for this opportunity. It's really great. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Okoron. I did, there was, I think it was showing on the screen. Obviously, I don't know, it's $50 actually, and it was displayed on the screen, which is why I didn't think to mention the price, but it's actually $50 for the professionals for the 30-day training. You need to, first and foremost, just like I said, it is something, it's not going to be as in-depth as the professional training. First, we do not have as much time. And secondly, it's not really necessary because the person who uses the tool is different from the person who creates the tool. The creator needs to do a whole lot more work than the person who is going to just use it. The professional is just someone who is going to be using dashboards, who needs to understand how data will benefit his business, who needs to understand data best practices, collection best practices, maybe how to deploy toolboxes that they can use to collect data, how to have proper backup principles or backup strategies so that they would not lose their data, how to work on updates on their data within their company. So those are the kind of things that will be covered in that course. But for the professionals, for the one that we're talking about, professional training, we're talking teaching people how to create tools, how to clean data, how to pre-process data, how to create pipelines, how to process pipelines. And not everybody, I'm sorry, but for the professional cadre, not every single person may qualify. There is a simple test which we are going to publish. Well, please, right after this call, we're going to have a WhatsApp group. Eventually, maybe latest by Tuesday, you should have invites to join the WhatsApp group, because all of the communication going forward will be on the WhatsApp group. So you'll get to know, okay, this is the test that you need to pass to be able to sign up as a professional and to be trained as a professional, because we are not going to be starting from, we're going to be teaching you data analytics and data science from scratch. But the truth is that to perform as an analyst or a data scientist, there are some things that you should already have a background in. Basic statistics, understanding how to do mean, median, mode, measurements of central tendencies and dispersion. Some of these things, you need to know them. If you do not know them, then we would recommend a statistical training course and some other training courses that you can go familiarize yourself, because it's meant to be sustained. It's not, it wouldn't be just once. So the idea is that when you go, you brush up, you can come back and attempt again. So that's it. Those are the courses or what you should clean up before you're sure that you can join in those courses. I hope I answered your question, please.
Yes, thank you. Sorry, when you probably made the review for the amount of money, I wasn't looking at it though. I was listening, so I didn't see that. That's why. It's all right, but it's okay.
It's all right, Mr. Okoro. Thank you so much. And one more thing, we're going to be having a number of in short, when we pull everyone into the WhatsApp group, we'll start with some publications. But for early birds, that is people who are going to sign up in the first instance, there are some freebies that you're entitled to. Yeah. And that we would communicate. There are some freebies that would basically make you, if you check the value of what you're getting for signing up, you're only paying a fraction of what is to be billed. Yeah. Okay. Mr. David, you have your hands up. Please, you have the floor. Just, yeah.
Can you hear me?
Okay, yes, I can hear you, Mr. David. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Mr. Prince. It's a very good presentation, I see, and Mr. Justice too. But my question is, the training, you made mention of for the professional that is $100. So is it going to be like one-off payment, or is it going to be, we can do an installment, maybe for some of us that doesn't have the need to do one-off payment, you know, so that we can also be part of the 90 days training. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Mr. David. There is a payment plan that can make it a little bit easier for subscribers. We have a plan that allows you to pay 66, that is 2/3 of the total bill, and gives you an opportunity to balance up after 60 days.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's option 2/3 upfront, and you balance the remaining after 60 days. So that's the payment, the staggered payment that is permissible. You're going to be, and also I think I should state this upfront, you should have access to a computer that should have either a Core i5 processor and at least 4 gigabytes of RAM. If it can be more the merrier, the more the better, yeah? So you should have the basic tools that you need to be able to do the program. And you must be able to dedicate at least 5 hours every day to the program. So please, if you are not in a position to give all of this for now, we would advise that you shouldn't start immediately. Make sure you have all of this in place. You have the time to dedicate towards being successful in the program, and you have the resources that is also required to make you, that is by way of the tools you need. Hope I've answered your question, please, Mr. David.
Yes, you have. But then I have another question. The thing just occurred to me as you were explaining the first question. So the class, I believe we have some people who are working. Like, they go to work from 8 to 5 or 4, something like that. How is the class or the training going to be structured? We also accommodate these people, so we won't miss any part of the training. I mean, for those who are serious, who really want to do this, but they are working and they are interested to get it done.
Okay, to answer that, though you're looking at 5 hours, but it's 5 flexible hours. It doesn't have to be the way the training is structured. We have two 1-hour training sessions within a week. Most of it are materials that you consume at your leisure. Then you are entitled to schedule 1-hour sessions 3 times a week. So that's one-on-one session. So, and there's reasonable flexibility, 1-hour session within working hours. So from 8 till 5, you would have a calendar schedule of the available times. So you can schedule yourself in 1 hour at any of those times. Then what happens is that you have that one. So that addresses your personal challenges. It's a very personalized hands-on training system. Then aside from that, we also do projects, lots of projects, collaborative projects. So there may be 5 of us collaborating on one project. So as you're learning the theory, you're practicing it by delivering these projects, by working on these projects. If you have a challenge and you need it to be clarified, you go back. So far you are a serious person, even if you're working, you can still integrate, you can still be part of it. The only thing is that as a working person, the 5 hours, 5 hours is what is recommended. Some people who are very quick in grasping these concepts would use less time. Some who are not very quick in grasping the concepts will use more time. But on the average, you can use 5, you can get by with 5 hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then, Todd, I have a Core i3 laptop. So does it mean I'll have to purchase a higher system for the training?
Okay. Okay, for those who do not have a Core i5 system, you definitely will need to leverage on cloud platforms. We'll teach you how to do that. But if you want to run what they call cloud platforms, for example, instead of using Jupyter Notebook, which you run on your local machine, you may need to rely on Google Colab that gives you an instance online. So Google will provision a system for you that has 8 gig of RAM and the equivalent of a Core i7 processor, even a GPU processor for a limited period of time. So you would learn to leverage on these tools if you do not have a computer that has the capacity. But if you want to run all these things traditionally, natively on your system, that is what you would need about that. Not that a Core i3 cannot do it, but it would lag. It will affect it means that you have to shut down every other thing on your computer when you want to run it and all of that. So yeah, that's it.
Okay. That's all I have. Thank you.
Sorry, thank you, Mr. David. Mr. Joshua Obinna, please, your hand is up. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much. Prince, and thank you very much, Justice, for this presentation. My question is along this line. I hope you can hear me.
Yeah, thank you, Joshua. I can hear you.
Yeah, Joshua.
Okay. My question is about what are the provisions for collaborations and high-level partnerships that goes way beyond these provisions for course and for professionals, because in my case, I'm a business developer and marketing technologist. My work is to solve problems for business regardless of the nature. And in doing that, I make sure to improve their relationship with people, their processes, to leverage data, and at the same time, technology, which in its highest form right now is AI. So I don't really would want to go specifically into this data science niche and all of these things. So I have I know the first principles and I have overview of what they require, you understand? But I'm thinking about leveraging on people like you that have expertise, so bringing a business problem from either of my clients and say, how do we solve this together? So what provisions are there for this kind of high-level partnerships?
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Joshua. This training thing is just a part of what is done at PSP Alpha. I did do an overview of what we are about at the beginning. So what you're talking about is actually something we are passionate about. In fact, persons like you are very, very integral to the entire ecosystem. Why? I did say that part of the problem we are facing right now is that people who need these services don't even know. From what you're talking about, you fall into the category of persons who can let people understand that this is a problem you have, work as a team with others to be able to solve these problems. We're not just training people. No, there are 1,001 institutions that train people and churn them out. That's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to be a solution provider. We understand that these are the problems that businesses face. These are the problems that people face in their everyday life. And this is how we can leverage on data science and AI and data analytics to solve these problems. So yes, if you have such situations or such circumstances, reach out to me. There are many other persons, the team that you would get to meet as we progress. It's not just I and Justice in this team. And Justice may not even be 100% available because Justice is actually a professional who is working. We just engaged him for the purpose of facilitation. So he works and he's usually engaged from 8 to 5 p.m. regular working hours. But I want to believe that for the sake of our relationship and for the sake of the passion he has for this space, I know him, so I know he's a very passionate person when it comes to propagating data science, data analytics, and the principles of what we do. He would be able to make exceptions from time to time and grace honor us with his presence from time to time. But what I'm trying to say, the long and short of it is this. When those problems are cited, are spotted, are identified, that is what we love to do. The best way of of learning data science is doing data science. Yeah. The best way of learning it is doing it. So I always am passionate about opportunities to do data science, to do data analytics. And that's what you're talking about. Looking at a problem and constructing a solution, deploying the solution. So it's something we love to do. And there is more than, in short, we have a massive passion for that. So if you have such circumstances or such situations, bring them and we'll be very happy to solve them. Yeah. I hope I've answered your question.
All right. Yeah, very well. Thank you very much. So we'll we'll reach out afterwards to find it. My Justice is my link to this webinar. So I will connect with him. I'll get to you through him as well.
No problem at all. Thank you very much. Mr. Uzu, please, you have the floor now. Hello, Mr. Uzu, if you can hear me, please, you can go ahead.
You can unmute and talk.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, yes, I can hear you now.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. First of all, I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to learn or tap from the knowledge so far. I have enjoyed the section so far. So I have a question. I am not the one to want to go from step to step. I like to look at the broad picture of what I'm going into before I commence, and have been doing some diggings in data science. I'd like to say that I am a civil engineer by profession, and I've been practicing for about 8 years. I'm looking to switch career into data science, and I've already enrolled in some schools like Alt School and some others. So far, I haven't gotten what I wanted for some reasons that I may not mention now. But I have looked at the curriculums of data science, and it's kind of a lot. And for each schooling or online schools I've seen out there, I feel like the program, the duration is quite small, because when I see them, they highlight programs or tools like Python, Pandas, NumPy, Seaborn, Excel, TensorFlow, Spark, SQL, Mango. It's quite a lot. So I do not know where to pick out from. I have been learning, or I've been self-learning myself on Python since February this year, and I am still on it. I've covered quite a lot. So it's fair to say I'm an intermediate, but I'm still very far from what it takes to be a data scientist or analyst. So my question is, for someone like me that feels like data science is very broad, how do I get a mentorship on the right path to take? And how do I put it into real life opportunities? Because I've also looked out for jobs like volunteer or internship, and I'm yet to get. So if not for my strong will to switch career, I probably would have given up. I believe it's the fate for so many people out there. So this my question is not just for me, but for people that are aspiring to switch career and get something out of it.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Uzu. You are correct. It can be overwhelming having to learn all of these things and do all of these things and understand all of these things. I had the same experience. I had been in this space for close to 2 years before I had the first opportunity to actually earn for the very first time as a data professional. And one thing I would assure you is that all of the frustrations, all of the stress, all of the pain, man, when you get that first check, it just melts away. Why does it melt away? Because you will be amazed at the reward ratio. It's quite high. It's quite high. I don't know of many other careers where you can work for 5 days and get a check of $500,000. And the 5 days of work may not be full-time work, especially when you get contracts. Some of them are things that you can do very, very easily, leverage it on tools, on certain tools that are out there, but you're the one who knows how to use them. So, and another thing that can be frustrating is spreading yourself too thin. Yeah, spreading yourself too thin. When there's this thing that you just continue to learn. I also had that challenge. I learned, and I'm still learning. It's a good thing to learn, but also consider a path to earn as well. Put it front and center. Don't leave it at the back stage for too long. Just tell yourself that, okay, I want to pick these skills. I want to be able to apply them, as quickly as possible. I want to pick these skills and I want to be able to apply them. That way you find out that you're not just learning and learning and learning, but you also give yourself an opportunity to earn and still reach out to us. There's a lot we can do together. There are pro bono projects that build your skills in practice, not just learning theoretically, because that's a very important aspect. Yeah. Then if we build, okay, look at what you're talking about. Your question seems to be the opposite of the question of the last caller. The last caller was saying, I can see opportunities where businesses need these services, and I'm looking for people who can work together to deploy it, because I don't think I want to start the learning curve might be too steep for me. I may not want to start doing all of this all over again. And you are saying, I'm looking for an opportunity to be able to have access to a space to practice what I've learned over this time. I've been learning this and that. I've learned PySpark, learned Hadoop, learned SQL, learned Power BI, So, of course, that is the whole idea of the community still, that one person can bring the condiments, another person can prepare the meal, a third person can serve the meal or sell the meal, whatever. So yes, there is room for all of this. And what I want to say to you in particular, please do not give up. Why am I saying you should not give up? Is because, like I told you, I'm 100% persuaded. The first, let me just share a quick testimony because it will benefit you. The first actual data science project I executed was for a business that did not think they needed a data science department. They didn't think they could benefit from analytics in any way. They did not have an analytic department. There was nothing. And when I met with the company CEO, I said, I'm not asking you to pay me. Just let me get your data. Let me analyze it. Let me, present it to you. I said, fine. If it's not going to cost me anything, there's no harm. Knock yourself out. Here you go. And I took the data and carried out some analysis on it. Man, his mind was blown when he saw it. He was like, what? Are you telling me we actually spent this much on this in a 12-month period only? How? And I was just smiling in my mind. And I was like, you see, you don't even know where your money is going to. Now, that is the power of data science and data analytics. So sometimes don't always don't try to